Review for Star 80, 1983, directed by Bob Fosse. So the synopsis: a successful young model finds trouble when her obsessive manager turned husband becomes dangerously jealous. Very interesting movie starring Merrill Hemingway and Eric Roberts. By far, they're the stars. Cliff Robertson plays Hugh Hefner, and trying to find, he has like Eric Roberts has a friend he lives with. Oh, David Clennon. He's been in a bunch of stuff too. Yeah, he's in The Thing. That's right. I was like, I knew I recognized him. But anyways, so Eric Roberts is this kind of fast talking. At one point, someone calls him a pimp. I mean, kind of like kind of sleazy charm, and he meets Merrill Hemingway, and she's like, I don't know, maybe 17 at the time, very young. Maybe I think she's 17 though, and he meets her, and then he's like, "Oh, you're beautiful. I'm gonna make you a star." Um, and then they start to date. He takes her to her prom because he's at least like, I don't know, 5, maybe 10 years older than her. Doesn't they don't say, but and she becomes very successful. She becomes a Playboy playmate. Hugh Hefner, or the guy who plays Hugh Hefner, but anyways, is a big fan of her. Um, so he kind of takes her under his wing. It's kind of like a father figure to her, and he starts getting her jobs in the movie industry, which is what Eric Roberts wanted to do. Eric Roberts goes out there because he's in Vancouver. He goes to the Playboy Mansion. He meets Hugh Hefner. Hefner doesn't like him instantly. He keeps trying to like talk to Hefner. He doesn't like him. Merrill Hemingway and Eric Roberts get married. He says that you shouldn't marry him because, in his words, he dresses like a pimp. And then he's like, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that." But it's a tragic story because, I mean, it's not spoilers, because right away in the movie you basically get the feeling that Eric Roberts ends up killing Merrill Hemingway. Like, he's obsessed with her. He has like a bunch of photos, like almost like a shrine to her. Um, because he becomes her manager, like, kind of, but she's basically getting her own parts. So I don't even know what he's managing. He's just, he's spending all of her money. Um, he's trying to get a poster done because he says they can make tons of money on this on a poster, and he can't really get it together. Merrill Hemingway begins to film a movie in New York. Before, she did a couple small bit roles in kind of, cheesy monster movies. This is like a real movie with like a legit director. Played by Roger Rees. Yeah, who's the sheriff of Nottingham in Robin Hood Men in Tights. Okay. Um, and basically, it's just the sad tale of Eric Roberts' descent into insanity because he gets the feeling that she's sleeping around, even though he's sleeping around with multiple women. But it's like, he's like, oh, well, I could sleep around, but she can't. So he gets the feeling that she's sleeping with the director, and that she's going to leave him. And he can't deal with that. And, he has these ideas, like he wanted to start a health spa um, with her name on it, too. And that fell through because it cost tons of money. And, Merrill Hemingway, she's making some money, but he's like spending almost all of it. He's obsessed. He keeps calling her on the phone, bothering her, to do this and that, and she kind of just, is fed up. Um, Meryl Hemingway and Eric Roberts are both very good in the movie. Uh, before this, I've only saw Meryl Hemingway in the Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, which is a terrible, terrible movie. I mean, I just watched Madam Web. What's worse, Superman 4 or Madam Web? Hmm. I'd probably go with Madam Web because at least Superman 4 is Christopher Reeves in it. But anyways, she's a very attractive lady. She's good in Superman 4, but the movie's terrible. So that's all I've seen her in. Eric Roberts is a good actor. He's been in a bunch of stuff. This is probably the best performance I've seen of his. And I don't know, has he ever been nominated for an Academy Award? But he's great. I mean, uh, I know that Roger Ebert's a big fan of this movie. He gave it 4 out of 4 stars. Okay, he was nominated for Runaway Train. Okay, that's good too. I'd say he's even better in this because the whole movie is almost just him and her, and then sometimes he's with his friends and some of the women he's seeing. Um, Probably my favorite scenes though are at the Playboy Mansion. The guy that played Hugh Hefner, I thought was pretty good. But yeah, and then she's gonna leave him. She wants a divorce because they get married, even though Hugh Hefner said not to. And and then she's like, "I'll give you half of what's in my bank account," which is she'll give him 7,000. I guess she has $14,000 in there, and he flips out. Earlier, he bought a gun. Um, and spoilers, but all of this is basically you get the feeling, shown in the beginning of the movie. In a way, it's kind of like a movie that shows the end in the very beginning, but they don't actually show her dead. But you definitely get the feeling cops are interviewing some of his friends and her friends, and and then she meets with him, and he's like desperately trying to hold it together and hold their marriage together, but she's over it. And yeah, but yeah, very tragic movie. Very good. Unfortunately, the director died soon after making it. Bob Fosse. He directed All That Jazz, Lenny, Cabaret. I haven't seen those, but this is his last movie. Because a few years after this, he had a heart attack, I guess, and died. So, very well directed. Nicely shot. Um, the Playboy Hugh Hefner sued the producers after the film was released because he did not like how he was portrayed. So is this based on a true story? Oh, Aram Nichols that's the director that she ends up having an affair with, is a fictionalized version of the film director Peter Bogdanovich. Bogdanovich was dating Dorothy Stratton around the time that they collaborated on They All Laughed. In this film, the title of that collaboration was changed to Tinseltown. This was due to Bogdanovich threatening to sue if he was unhappy with how he was portrayed, although all the other films she appeared in had their names changed too. So I guess it is based on a true story. Okay, so Dorothy Stratton, I guess, was killed by her lover, boyfriend, husband. Hugh Hefner's younger brother is in this. Okay. But Gene Siskel selected this as one of his top 10 films of 83. Yeah, final theatrical film by Bob Fosse. So, but yeah, Ebert, fan of the movie, 4 out of 4 stars. Um, what was he says? What is the point of Star 80? I'm not sure. Just as I wasn't sure the point of In Cold Blood or La Cambre Lucien. I haven't seen that, or the Executioner song. There is no redemption in this movie. No catharsis. It unblinkingly looks at the short life of a simple, pretty girl and a torture man who made her into something he couldn't have and then killed her for it. The movie seems to be saying these things happen. After it was over, I felt bad for Dorothy Stratton, in fact, for everybody. Eric Roberts, as Paul, even succeeds in persuading us to accept him as a suffering human being rather than a hateful killer. Like Robert De Niro with Travis Bickle on Taxi Driver, he fills his role with so much reality that we feel horror but not blame. Carol Baker as Dorothy's mother is heartbreakingly incapable of connecting in any meaningful way with her daughter. So, so yeah, it's just a very tragic story, but I think incredibly well done. When Paul saw Dorothy behind the counter of a hamburger stand, he knew she was his ticket to the big time. Dorothy resisted his compliments at first, but he was so relentless in his adoration that she surrendered to his fantasies. Paul masterminded Dorothy rise to the big time. He arranged the photo session that attracted the eyes of the Playboy talent scout. He bought her dresses and flowers. He pushed her into the limelight and then edged into it next to her. But then she went to Los Angeles and found the real stardust, the flattery, the Playboy mansion, the attention of a young men whose sports cars were bought with their own money while Paul's was bought with hers. Paul had a vanity license plate made Star 80, but Dorothy had moved out of his world, had been giving a taste of a larger world that frankly Paul didn't have the class to appreciate. She fell in love with a movie director. She went out of town on location. She and Paul drifted apart, and he went mad with jealousy and resentment. On August 14th, 1980, Dorothy went back to the shabby little North Hollywood bungalow they had rented together, and Paul murdered her. Star 80 begins with the murder. Everything else is in the flashbacks, and therefore the film has no really happy scenes. Yeah. Dorothy triumphs are all stained with the knowledge of what we will happen. Every time she smiles, it's poignant. We know Paul will go berserk and kill her, and we can see from the beginning that he's unbalanced. Fosse knows his material is relentlessly depressing, and so he doesn't try to and so he doesn't try for moments of relief. Although we enter the world of Playboy and see Dorothy partying in the mansion and posing in nude modeling sessions. Although the whole movie is concerned with aspects of sex, there is never an erotic moment. Fosse keeps his distance regarding Dorothy as more of a case study than a fantasy. That makes Hemingway's performance as Dorothy all the more powerful. She has been remade into the sleek, glossy playmate image, but at 22, she still has the adolescent directness and naivete that she used so well in Manhattan and Personal Best. She's a big kid, her eyes wide open when we get to see Los Angeles, and she's impressed by the attention she's receiving. The character she plays is simple, uncomplicated, shallow, and so trusting that she never does realize how dangerous Paul really is. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Um, but yeah, it's crazy. Uh, Hugh Hefner sued because he hated how he was portrayed. I thought he was portrayed okay, but yeah, pretty simple movie, tragic story, but I think very well done. So check it out, Star 80, directed by Bob Fosse, and yeah, definitely a very solid movie. So, but that's about it, and I'll see you next time.